What's up, guys? Subzeric here. But before we get into the VOD, I want to look at this really interesting tweet that Kim posted. If you guys don't remember Kim, they were the one who posted about the Akali tech that YBY1 was running, talking about how he was hard forcing Akali, which led to me VOD reviewing YBY1, which was a really cool VOD review. They work closely with YBY1. They make like guides and stuff like that, and other like really high elo players. And this is purporting to be Augment stats, essentially. Now, these aren't exactly Augment stats. As far as I can understand it, Kim basically used Explorer and filtered down to the types of situations in which you would have these hero augments. There are no actual augments for or there are no actual augment stats for hero augments, so this is kind of like a mishmash of different data trying to get there. And you can even see they talk about the fact that, the Powder Hero Augment, you can play Powder in the exact same way without the Powder Hero Augment. So, if you filter down to a Powder 3 with 3 items and put like Hodge onto her, well, you're still doing that with Powder 3 very often, so you can't really filter that. But one thing that does shine through in this data is based on the filters, and it's a big if, but looking on these filters, Singed Hero Augment looks disgusting, 3.27. And that's something that a lot of people have been talking about. So I thought, you know what, today, let's do a VOD review of this Singed Hero Augment. This is a game from Prestivent where he played it, and I've heard a lot of people talking about how broken this augment is, but I actually myself haven't got a chance to play it yet. So I thought, it'd be fun. Let's watch Prestivent, see what he has to say about the augment, what items he builds, what board he plays, and yeah, I think a lot of people have essentially said this augment is a must take if you get there. Like if you see it, you have to pick it. And I mean, looking at those stats, if 3.27 is correct, even if it's anywhere near correct, this is in the range of some of those most broken augments of all time. Reminds me of like storied like the Garen hero augment, and all these kind of other hero augments. And ooh baby, obviously Prestivent doesn't know that he's gonna potentially get a Singed Hero Augment here, but starting the game off with a Singed 2, I mean, you're gonna buy this regardless because it's pretty good frontline, and the possibility of getting a Singed 2 here with Hero Augment, you can already tell that this is it's gonna be a fun game to start with. And there it is, Mad Chemist, the immediate take. We're starting the game with 7 Singes here. So, for the people out there who complain that I only VOD review high rolls, maybe you're correct. All right, let's talk about Singed itemization. I pulled up some stats here. This is Singed 3 with 3 items. This is really one of the only scenarios in which you're going to be playing Singed 3 with 3 items. There aren't very many other situations. Like Worth the Wait would be the other one. That's probably actually what how he got here, is he filtered out. Well, you can't filter out Worth the Wait because it's an augment. Okay. Bloodthirster, Archangels, Morellos all look very good. It looks like, Archangels make sense. He's running around. And maybe I'll read this this hero augment to you guys for those who haven't seen it. So Mad Chemist, gain a Singed. Your strongest Singed cannot attack, but constantly runs, leaving a poison trail dealing magic damage over time. His ability will always target himself, and instead grants 20% Omnivamp and MS. So he zooms all around the board, dropping the trail, and gains a bunch of Omnivamp and movement speed. You can see BT, you obviously want some kind of healing onto him. Warmogs looks quite bad. So tank items look quite bad on him. Even Onyx Spark looks quite bad on him. So you really would like Morello, because obviously he's going to spread that really nicely, and he has the dot. So that feels really good. He does have dot, right? I'm not crazy. Because like I said, I haven't, magic damage over time. Like I said, I haven't played it yet. Archangels and BT. What's actually interesting though is I took this up to 4-star, and the items do change a lot. Obviously, we're getting down to a very small amount of data, but then you're getting into more like, it's not as good to build stuff like BT, and then JG gets a lot better on the data, which is kind of interesting. The idea, I guess, being once you tick up to 4-star, it's pretty hard for him to actually die, so you don't even really need the BT. He is getting Omnivamp, of course, from his ability. So yeah. Also, I forget if I said or not, but hero augments, I don't know if I've taken a single hero augment so far this set, but they only give you the 1-star copy, which feels kind of bad. He's only actually 5 Singed here. I thought he was, like, when I saw it, I was thinking he'd be 7 Singed, but it only gives the 1-star. I guess, it's a silver augment now. But you can see, look at this Singed zoom around the map. He's so fun to watch. The Morello immediately slam for Prestivent. I mean, honestly, we're on our way to perfect items. Potentially like a BT JG. We could finish these items out, and you'd be very pleased. We'll see what he ends up going for here. It's also kind of interesting that he's putting it Singe the third row. I'm not really sure the reasoning behind Singe third row, because I mean, you want him to run into the board as quickly as possible. I'd imagine you would just put him second row. Obviously, him taking damage doesn't seem good. I guess he's just gaining mana no matter what, so maybe he's like giving him that extra like half second to gain some mana. Also just maybe, I mean, if you put him second row between the two rels, he's never, getting aggroed on, but maybe he's just like completely ensuring that he's never receiving aggro. And so far, board-wise, okay, this will be good. Prestivent's going to put the board that he wants to play into Team Planner. Looks like his thought process is just play a bunch of Sentinels. Once again, we can do a little bit of a stats check on this to see what the statistics tell us is one of the best boards to play. Most frequent and by far the best here looks like 6 Sentinel. And then you can just play like a Sentinel Heimerdinger board. It really, really looks like. Don't play 4 Sentinel, just get up to 6. Makes a lot of sense here. And then like look at units as well. You can see Heimerdinger looks quite good. Obviously stuff like Alawi, and then these guys actually have positive delta, perhaps because, when you're like really, really capping the board out, you'd rather play some other stuff. But yeah, 6 Sentinel makes a lot of sense. So far, we're just going to play this Bruiser on this board here because why not? The only downside is this does make it a little awkward for us to make gold if we lose here. Hopefully we do win. We're actually fighting an enemy Singed here. This guy's holding our Singe, and we're gonna slam a cloak here. I love the cloak slam here from Prestivent. Just we need to make sure that we win this fight. We know that the cloak is very likely to end up on the Singed. Worst case, if it doesn't, we have removers, and we do end up winning this fight and making gold. So this feels really, really good spot-wise. This is a fantastic spot for the Singed comp. The question will be just when we actually do end up hitting Singed 3, how many Singed we end up getting to. All right, BT taken immediately, JG taken immediately. So what's the item that you would like to go for here? There's nothing that really piques my interest here. Just going to go for a Giant's Belt here. I'm not really sure what the idea is behind the Giant's Belt, but I mean, it was between that and like a few other kind of mediocre components, right? I mean, we're not going to take Glove here. So it's really, at this point, just between Giant's Belt and Glove. And so he ends up going for the Giant's Belt. I mean, I can't see that much of a use for another Glove unless you do some kind of like JG Hodge setup, but I think at the end of the day, yeah, Giant's Belt probably a little bit better, though. I don't know that we're going to make another belt item onto Singed. I think this just, we have to be happy with the fact that we got a belt and, I don't know, live with that. Playing the set on the board as well with the idea that, ooh, look at that Guardbreaker Slam for the Singed. Now, statistically, I think this is, not an amazing item on him probably, though you could see some value in it. I mean, let's look at the stats. Maybe Prestivent showing off the tech here. I love this, though. Whereas, I mean, I could just search it up here so I make it easier on myself. It's not been built enough times. We can bring down the filters a little bit, but it is very, very infrequently built. It's negative delta, only 49 games, but it's negative delta. But I actually love this slam out of Prestivent. The only downside is it does kill that glove. Oof, and we do end up losing the fight. I mean, I love it less now that we've lost the fight with the slam, but, the idea is make a tempo slam, save some HP, and, we could end up just being Morello, Guardbreaker, BT, and those could be our items. And, Guardbreaker versus JG, I mean, a lot of people think that Guardbreaker is a better item than JG, so why not just throw the Guardbreaker on there? I mean, there is... It makes sense theoretically, and the big thing is just that we are slamming items, making sure that we're, even though we lost that last fight, ideally we would have won it, of course, but even though we lost that last fight, saving HP is really, really nice here. So I don't know, the more that I look at it, the more I like the Guardbreaker. Like I said, statistically, I think JG is better, though I'm if you asked me why JG is better in the stats, I couldn't give you a really reasonable answer, because I think a lot of people's opinions are that just Guardbreaker, yeah, is just a better item than JG. The damage amp is really, really nice to get. You can proc it very easily, and Singe should proc Guardbreaker very easily as well. I guess the only thing I could think of that would make JG better is the ability to kind of like one-tap backliners with it, whereas Guardbreaker, you need to proc it on frontline, and you're not, when you're only hitting backliners, like when you run straight to backline, you're not getting that. All right, another Singed here. Let's send it down here. Just looking for Sentinels and Singes. It's interesting that he's holding on to some of these other one costs. I mean, it does help thin out the pool a bit. The next question is, how deep do we roll? One off Singed, we are one off, right? No, we're 2 off. I don't know why I thought we were 1 off. We have so few Singes. It's so sad. Okay, 2 off Singed. I can see waiting here. I think if you're a 1 off Singed, you would probably send it down to like 20 gold just because the spike is disgusting here. And I think I mean, this makes sense. He's also, I don't know, this is kind of interesting, holding all these Luxes for an idea of maybe a Lux 3. Lux does fit on the board very, very nicely. You do have the combination. I mean, one, you can get, Academy fits nicely on the board, and Lux fits nicely because she's an Academy unit. All right, Augment here, Spirit Link, Inspiring Epitaph, and Portable Forage. So I've heard mixed things about the Spirit Link augment. When I've taken it, it's felt pretty solid, and I would imagine something like this is really, really good in a comp like this where you're playing all these really, really tanky units. I don't know that there's a portable forge item. Once again, we will go to our Lord and Savior, the stats here. There aren't augment stats, but there are item stats, so let's check these out and see if there's anything crazy. Seekers, oh, Blighting Jewel Singed. That does sound disgusting if we could get it. Oh my god. Just the dot applying to the entire board. Yeah, that, and then giving him the mana gen so that he's just casting and giving himself all that MS and Omnivamp sounds really, really nuts. Okay, I mean, I'm based on literally just that, I'm kind of down to try the portable forge out. The other options, though, I mean, Spirit Link does look kind of juicy. It's not that great right now because we're pretty healthy. I would try it, though. All right, we get it. Oh, okay. No Blighting Jewel, Light Shield Crest. I mean, yeah, this makes sense. We do have a lot of high armor and MR targets with Sentinel in, so makes sense. Sad that we can't get the Blighting Jewel Singe tech, but still, this is fine. We can just throw this on a Sentinel, I imagine, and feel pretty good about it. At least it'll make our board a lot tankier. How does this prioritize? Let me go back real quick. Does it prioritize who to shield here? Hover over it for me, please. The lowest percent HP ally. So there's a I was gonna try to say there's a decent shot that's gonna be singed, but I don't know that that's really true. It's usually just gonna be another one of these frontliners, especially early on to the fight. If Irelia lives really late, maybe it would end up being somebody else, but I mean that's not gonna happen. Especially if we position her like this. Maybe if we put her in the middle of the other guys to get more light shield value, which is I imagine what you would want to do. Look at this singed. Wait, it's so fun to see him just run around the entire board and get faster and faster and faster as the fight goes on. All right, another Rel here, so we can put that onto the board as a 2-star Rel. We're also just playing this Lux for now. I imagine just as more support for the Singed because she's not a trait on the board. The only trait that you could reasonably fit in here is like a Visionary. I guess Conqueror as well. You could play the Swain if you really wanted to. I mean, if we could push levels, Swain would actually be a great in on this board, but we can't. And he also doesn't really benefit Singed that much. But yeah, I mean, it's just so... I mean, imagine... I mean, the Morello looks so good just because Singed runs through their entire board and he's applying Morellos to their entire board and it's damage over time ticking. So every time that that damage ticks, it's refreshing that Morellos. That's why you very, very often see Morellos built on damage over time units. People really, really like Heal Cut onto Malzahar because he's reapplying it every single time a tick of damage over time applies. I imagine we're looking for B tier if we can get it, but it doesn't exist here. I wonder if he would just, you know, console himself with a Hodge. Answer looks like no. We don't have anything, I don't imagine, else to build out of the belt here as far as that kind of stuff. That is Singe 3, though. That is a big, big hit here. We don't really still have anything else to put in. He's holding on to these Irelias, though. I would be shocked if we just sit and wait for Irelia. Honestly, yeah, I kind of like this better. Just another Sentinel on this board here, just to make the board tankier for Singed. I really feel like that Lux was doing less than nothing with 0 traits in and 0 items built. It's just gonna take her so long to cast, and even when she does, I mean, the shield value. The big thing is there's a very high value in shielding your units with a lot of armor and MR because they have so much armor and MR that each point of that shield is worth more than if it were on a unit with less armor and MR. But yeah, still. Level up here, we can get this Nami in here for Emissary. Yeah, I love this, though. I guess it doesn't really help Singed because he doesn't auto attack at all, which is kind of tragic, but at least it helps the rest of the board. And it is AP onto his unit, so that's something that's nice. Fighting a Relic here, who honestly does not have the strongest board. He's kind of low. Has just, I mean, his entire board 1-starred essentially. Upside, I guess, for Relic is that he has that Elise, but his spot looks a little scary. Though I guess he's pumping up. Maybe he'll scale up and get there. But yeah, I mean, Prestivent spot looking fantastic. We hit the Singed in a reasonable amount of gold. Not incredibly quickly, but not very slowly. I mean, hitting it before the end of the stage is like I would say this is about average. Like hitting it by the end of the stage is kind of low roll. Hitting it earlier than that, like early stage 3 is pretty high roll. And he also didn't really have to commit that much gold, right? He could have sent it to 0 digging for Singe, but he didn't. And he's getting rewarded for that pretty well. All right, item-wise here, we have so much gold here, by the way, but let's take a peek at the items real quick here. We do have the Bloodthirster if we want to make it, and then we can think about moving other items around. We do not have any MR Shred on this board right now, which is, I think, our next biggest priority in this spot. I would say you make BT, and then you look for other tank items, and then you look for MR Shred. I imagine in Spark, Gargoyle tends to be a pretty awful item in a spot like this because once again, you already have so much armor and MR that you like don't really want to make more of that. So that would lead you to something like a Declaw. Like Declaw Sunfire would be fantastic if we didn't already have the Morello. But I like BT into, I don't know. I mean, this cannot be Gargoyle and it cannot be Sunfire, so that makes me want to make Vow. The only problem with making Vow is then you have to keep one of the cloaks open for the Ionic Spark, and you don't want to slam Even Shroud because that seems really, really rough. These items are awkward. I'm curious to see what the slams end up actually being here. You could reforge stuff, but honestly, the tank items are good. I don't know. I think I would make BT Vow and then try to greed the extra item, but we'll see. I was looking at adaptive, but still, like, how do you get rid of this chain vest is, I guess, my question if you make something like adaptive. Oh, reforge the chain vest. I mean, that's genius. I mean, that's, you know what? That makes actually perfect sense. It was the most awkward component to work with. So why don't we do this? That's a great reforge, actually. That completely fixes our items. Yeah, I was so concerned with, I was like, man, well, you could reforge the Giant's belt after you use the chain vest, but why not just reforge the chain vest? And then we get perfect items here. Wow, this is so good. Hitting the belt against Warmoth's Declaw, like, that's fantastic for us. And we have the tier open for Static Shiv. Yeah, I mean, that was, yeah, that in hindsight, that is definitely the play. Okay, Shield Bash, Singed doesn't auto attack. So this doesn't work on Singed, as far as I understand. The upside, though, is that if you're playing 6 Sentinels, all the other Sentinels are going to benefit from it. So it's probably still good. Health as Wealth doesn't honestly sound that bad either. Just give some extra Omnivamp to Singed. And yes, some extra econ, but I imagine you still just take this and play 6 Sentinel and you're happy with it. But it's kind of hilarious how, yeah, I don't think it really works there. Cloning Facility, I mean, you could clone Singed, but the second one is not going to get the hero augment as far as I understand it. And then you get another Singed 3, but like, are you that hyped for your cloning facility? I think you still just take Shield Bash here and play 6 Sentinel and you live with it. It's also a little bit of bonus armor to Mar for Singed. 5% is not really it, but I mean, just the fact that the rest of your Sentinels are going to do some work, I imagine, is the take. No, he's not going to go for it. He's going to go for Cloning Facility. All right, let's see how it goes. Yeah, we do have another Singed 3 on this board. It's just like, what does the extra Singed really do here? Also, we put Academy in here and got a Nashor's out of it, which is interesting. I mean, you know, the hope, I mean, the nice, well, but this Singed, our second Singed is going to cast on our first Singed and give him attack speed. But our first Singed doesn't do anything with attack speed, right? It's not like, yeah, I don't think attack speed does anything on Singed. I don't know. I guess the way to look at that would be like, look at the stats of any kind of attack speed item on him, but no one's ever going to build it. But I don't think this augment like gives him alternative attack speed scaling. I don't know. I don't love this augment pick. Let's see how it goes. But I think I would have liked just a shield bash this game, I think, and just let your other Sentinels do work. You're gonna play 6 Sentinel, and so you'll just have like a 6 Sentinel Alawi that's doing work. But we'll see. Maybe there's some value. So far, our other Singed is chilling, and he is making, yeah, he is casting on the Singed. It's not like he's like smart enough to know that the Singed can't use attack speed. As far as I know, I mean, it's not like he converts attack speed to movement speed or anything like that, right? I don't know. I guess I can look closer at the fights to see. All right. We want Static Shiv here. We cannot get it. So you can look for another MR Shred component just to give yourself kind of redundance, like take a cloak here. The other option would be going for some kind of like backline carry item. I don't know who. I mean, it's Heimer, right? It's Heimerdinger is your alternative backline carry on this board. If you can find it, you just play the 6 Sentinel Heimerdinger setup. I mean, it makes sense. Whoa, wait. We're going to roll 0 times here. Okay. He's going to roll 1 times here. But I mean, to be fair, we're level 8, we're 50 gold, we're 79 HP. Yeah, I mean, a fast 9 could be in order. My only like negative feelings about this is I feel like you get so much value out of hitting 1 Alawi here. Like getting 6 Sentinel in seems like it would spike your board a disgusting amount, which is why I'd be really tempted to roll here. But we'll see. I mean, that was a loss, but not a bad loss. All right, Augment here. The question is, what are we going to take here? When we were looking at the stats earlier, oh, and here I can show off a really cool tweet that I pulled up ahead of time by Mindful One. Mindful One posts a lot of these really nice graphics and stuff. If you've ever seen me pull up like a graphic that talks about like where to look for like all the little buddies units, or like here prismatic orb drops and stuff like that. 6 cost odds, like a lot of really nice graphics and stuff like that. Powders, wind up monkey. Wait, I didn't even know that this was this. Where's the powder wind up monkey? Oh, these are all the encounter options, I think. And these are 6 cost. Okay. Well, it's still really cool stuff. from Mindful One. And Mindful One posted this, which is the 4-star scalings of all of the hero augments, because this information actually doesn't exist in the game anywhere, and it doesn't exist on stat websites either. You know, like if you go into like units here, you're not going to see their ability, and I don't think these sites usually even have 4-star data. Yeah, they don't. So this is actually really helpful data. So it goes 160, 240, 360, and then 480%. Pretty good jump up, right? It's basically just the linear jump from 240 to 360 to 480. So it's a pretty big jump in damage. So, you know, just some little information. I'll try to remember to put this in the description. I'm usually pretty good at that, but if I don't. But the other question is, you know, like, could you go for something else? It looks like the answer from Mr. Prestivent is no. He's also now going to start rolling, which is interesting to me that we opted to not roll last round. I guess, what the fuck is that? Okay, so we hit a LeBlanc 2 on level 8. Here's a question that you might get upset with me for asking. Is it high roll? This LeBlanc unit, she feels like one of the worst item holders as far as 5 costs. She just doesn't do anything with items. She has a great ability. Her ability is amazing, but her ability doesn't really scale that well with items. You kind of just put her on the board for the ability. So it's kind of hilarious that we hit a LeBlanc 2, because, I mean, once again, I think a lot of people won't be upset at me for saying this. You would probably rather hit a Mal's 1 here. I don't, probably is not even the right thing to say. You would rather hit a Mal's 1 here. Blue buff spark, looks good to me. You would rather have a Mal's 1 here than LeBlanc 2, which is, I mean, it's a bit disgusting to say. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Isn't it? Oh, move items. Archangel here. Oh, and then we make Archangel BT. Remember, we were looking at the stats earlier. Archangel, one of the better items, and now we go Garbreaker QSS. Only downside is this leaves us completely down MR Shred, but I mean, to be honest, a lot of the value of Singed is just him running to the backline and killing everybody. Do you really need MR Shred when you have something like this? Archangels, maybe not. Also, the fact that we went for 4-star Singed does also bring this this cloning facility more into focus. It does make a lot of sense if you're going to go for 4-star Singed. I mean, we get another 4-star Singed with 0 items onto our board, but I mean, our gold augment being a 4-star Singed is pretty good. Still, though, he's just a meat shield. Like I said, his ability, I don't think, is really going to do anything because he's granting attack speed to our Singed. And as far as I know, the Singed can't use attack speed, which is kind of hilarious. But I mean, in any case, still, there's, I mean, to be fair, in that Mindful One, the thing that I just pulled up, and please tell me I didn't know I found it, it does say that Singed gains mana per second based on this 1000% attack speed thing kind of confuses me. Like every 1000 attack speed is something, maybe. I don't know. It's somebody smarter than me that can actually read TFT tooltips, because they always confuse me, can tell me what that it's like 1000% attack speed scaling. So but what does that mean? For every point of attack speed, he gains 1000 mana per second. That's definitely not true. So yeah, I don't really understand what that means. But I mean, I guess maybe there is some kind of attack speed scaling. I just, the 1000% is very confusing to me. If there is, then you know, all is forgiven in this spot. I mean, maybe not. We'll see. I mean, we'll never know if Shield Bash would have been better. I guess the idea, though, is that maybe he does have some kind of attack speed scaling. I don't know. It's very confusing. All right, next item here, just going to be a Spark. Yep, okay. So we do end up actually getting our MR Shred here. So exonerated for going for these items. I think this feels really, really good in Prestivent's spot here. He got to still get the MR Shred, but he got to get better items onto the Singed. He got the Archangels instead of the Guardbreaker, which I feel like if Singed can survive to these long fights, and everything in our board is pushing for Singed to get to long fights. We have an Ornn item that gets us to longer fights. We have 6 Sentinel. Like, everything wants us to get to these long fights. Then Singed will be an absolute monster. And you can just see him being an absolute monster running through this board, just running down a Malzahar and a Mordekaiser too, just to strip. Phoenix is absolutely devastated with that fight. Level 10 and just gets run over by a Singed. That is hilarious. All right. We're going to get a Rumble in here. The reason that we're still playing the Irelia over Leona 2 is I don't know. I guess the idea is we're going to get Rebel in here. Rebel Sorcerer in in the Zoe, though I don't know why we're not playing the Leona for one round, unless he really thinks that Irelia is better than Leona, but that would surprise me. I think we're just being a little bit lazy here. This is a bit of a scary matchup, this family board, though Singe does put the Violet on a wild goose chase. Okay, if he runs, the problem is he's kind of like he's kind of like a reverse one of those like DVD loading screens, or it's like a splash screen, right? You know, when you would have like a DVD and it would like bounce all around, and you would really like you would get really hyped if it would hit the corner. It's kind of like the opposite of one of those, because in that matchup, when he hits the corner, he bounces off the corner and then runs straight into the Violet. If he's not running into the corner, he's actually doing a lot of work there. So yeah, all that to say, I don't know. That's a Jinx too. All that to say, that's a Jinx too on our board. We can fit an Echo with that, get Ambusher, throw a TG onto her, I guess. I mean, it's you know, decent. Oh my god, yeah, and she actually rolled pretty good items here. Yeah, I mean, what else are you gonna do? The other option would have been to move all the LeBlanc items over to her, which actually doesn't seem that bad. That's kind of, I think, what we were thinking about there. But once again, you saw the Singe in the bottom right. He was bouncing off the corner, and it really, really sucks. Phoenix at least down to 4 HP. So as long as Phoenix goes down soon, we'll feel good here. Gonna move items over to the Alawi now that we have Alawi 2, makes sense, and the Light Shield Crest doesn't really matter too much who it's on. Most of the armor and MR is just coming from Sentinel, so we might as well throw it onto somebody like Loris on the edge here. Makes a lot of sense, and you really just want the Alawi to be as tanky as possible. We're gonna fight Phoenix again here. Phoenix has hit Malzahar 2, which is really crucial here, and yeah, with the Malzahar 2 is very capped. We need me first or 8th to fight them. We're gonna take spare parts here just because we want to roll for something better. Rumble 2, I guess. I mean, I don't know why we're holding on to all these Zoes here, unless we're trying to like deny Zoe 3 from somebody, which doesn't really seem like the option now. All right, we fighting Clone here. Singed is in an okay spot. He's going to run into the entire board here. Let's see that DVD screen action. He's running straight into the middle. It looks like he's watching Phoenix because Phoenix is winning. And oh my god, we're going to go down to a 1 HP here. Rumble 2 on Carousel. That is a big pickup. And the rest, I mean, the other thing is, though, if you don't get Rumble 2, you kind of have to take an item for Jinx. Okay, we do get the Rumble 2 there, which is pretty big. A bunch of extra HP just onto this board. We could even... I mean, yeah, and we do also get to scrap an item component, actually. Yeah, I was going to say we can move the Light Shield Crest over to Rumble as well. But yeah, scrapping the belt is pretty nice. All right, we're fighting me first or 8th again, which is really scary. Hopefully, Phoenix takes a worse loss, or maybe we can eke out a win here. Our LeBlanc items are looking pretty rough here. All right, we are fighting this board one more time. The Violet ends up onto our Singed. Oh, but he does run away for a second. But it's just, do we have the single target damage enough to kill the Violet? It's a lot. Oh my god, we just barely got there. LeBlanc we get there. Phoenix is still alive. Oh my god, this game is going down to the wire. It's 6-6. If we win this fight, it'll be stage 7. Ooh, that's an interesting idea to dupe the Rumble there, just because Rumble 2 is a good unit. I don't think it's better than a Singed 4, but it's an interesting idea. Throwing the Alawi onto the right side is also an interesting idea, because this is dividing Spark. We're not sparking any of these units on the left side here. And oh my god, Phoenix's board, very good. A lot of value out of the Singe. Good Jinx. Oh, but oh my god, the mouse lives at 2 seconds. Was that a Spark side diff? I mean... Oh my god, a tragic end to the game, but you can see the power of this Augment. We were going neck and neck with some of the strongest boards. I mean, the fact that we beat this Malzahar board with, you know, a Malz 1, which, as we saw in the previous VOD review, is enough to win a lobby sometimes, and almost beat it when there was Malz 2. I think positioning slightly different, we maybe would have won that last fight. That was a really cool game, and showed a lot about how to play around the Singed Hero Augment and how to do very well with it. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Check my Twitch, all my links down below. Thank you guys as always for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.